Sipping some Blue Run with my good friend Mike Montgomery, Vice President, Coors Spirits. I'm tasting, I'm tasting a little Uri today, Mike. How you doing?
That is, you know, I'm glad you're drinking that. I was just looking at my bar a couple days ago, and Tom, I have 3 open bottles of Emerald on it.
Nice.
So what does that tell you?
You'd like to grab that one and have 3 around you. You have one always around you, close by.
Yeah, it's important, right? You have one on the nightstand. Keep one in the shower, and then maybe one in the kitchen, and then one in the bar. I think that would probably cover it, just to make sure that there's no deficiency at any point in time.
It's a triangulation of rye. It's almost like it's finding you or you're finding it.
It's magnetic.
It's delicious. It's a delicious rye, and right now, it's not the 12 days of rye, but it's something quite good too. 12 days of bourbon that you all are doing to celebrate the holidays. I love this. I love that you're doing a countdown, a little something new. Tell us what is the 12 days of bourbon?
Yeah, so the 12 days of bourbon is something that we started back in 2021, and it's a way to celebrate the holidays, and do so in an exciting way, right? So it's 12 single barrels that Shailen Gammon has selected. They're unique, right? And the idea of a single barrel, as you know, is that you don't want to just bottle the same flavor profile that you can get on the shelf with a flagship product. You want something that's a little bit out there, a little bit more punchy, so to speak. And we get to have fun with these, right? We've got some awesome names that to go along with some awesome product. The ones that I've been focused on lately have been Slaying It, Fully Lit, Blue Xmas, and there's probably one more. And I think today's offering, which is called Punch Bowl.
Actually, let me pull up a picture of Punch Bowl here. That way, did that work? Punch Bowl. There it is.
Look at that.
There's Punch Bowl. What a beautiful. Why do you call it Punch Bowl? Just to get an idea.
Well, there's 2 things. I think that when you think about going to a holiday party and there's this big bowl of punch with this gigantic ladle in it, and you're filling up your glass. There are flavors in that punch bowl that are, if you really, now you don't notice on this in your second or third glass, but your first glass, you can actually taste something. And so I guess I shouldn't even say glass. It's more of a cup, right?
Right.
I think you fill your cup at a punch bowl. But anyway, there are flavor nuances to it that reminded me of a punch bowl. And so that's the big idea, really. But the other aspect of a punch bowl is that they usually come around on celebrations or holidays, and it's a great place for people to gather, right? It's supposed to, punch bowl brings people together. When you go to a party, Tom, the people usually gather at 2 places, and it's generally where the drinks are. So it's it's in the kitchen or at the bar, right? And the punch bowl is the center of gravity for that moment in my mind. So it's just, we get to play. It's fun to come up with fun naming propositions. It's fun to tie those into flavor profiles. It's also fun to tie them to the holidays. So,
right,
there are nods to different different ways that people celebrate. Right, not everybody celebrates Christmas. It's not the 12 days of Christmas. It's it's not the 12 days of Hanukkah, because that wouldn't ring true either. And it's not the 12 days of Kwanzaa, right? So there's a nod to most holidays that people are celebrating across the 12 days. These are great bourbons, bottled at cask strength. So you get nice proof points on them. They look cool, and there's some packaging, by the way. And this packaging, usually we get to do some fun stuff with it, and I'll have to send this to you, Tom,
Yeah.
because the photos are great of the bottles, but they don't do the packaging justice. It's more of a kind of an E.H. Taylor style tube,
Right.
but you can twist the tube around and you line up the bottle with a butterfly and hit a button, and an LED light illuminates the entire package.
The LED light does.
Yes.
That is amazing. I'm just looking at this now. So each day a new one's dropping, and you can see, you can actually in the top left-hand corner, if you want the whole set, you can do those. It's called All the Toys. And then you have a few that are already out of stock, but if you get on there now, you can get at least through day 8 and then come back each day and just keep on seeing. There's even one called Blue Christmas, Midnight, Massive, Slang. This is such a fun concept. And again, the blue light you can just put right under the tree or whatever you're decorating with on the holiday.
Yeah. It happens at 3:00 Eastern every day online.
Every day.
Every day. You can go to Blue Run or you can go to Sealbox. Either way, it's
Right.
It's seamless there. This should be fun, right? This is we work in an industry that is fun. It doesn't need to be boring. It doesn't need to be staid or old. We get to have fun. We want to do things that delight people. We want to do things that surprise people.
That's right.
Oftentimes, Tom, I talk about the definition of insanity, right? It's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Well, if it's been done already, there's a great likelihood that we're not going to try to do it again. Right. So it's got to be new. It's got to be fresh. It's got to be different. It's got to feel fun. It's got to be a little bit playful, and it's got to be luxury, right? The liquid inside matches the packaging on the outside. And, for me, it's a winner. I do sit by my computer at 3:00 Eastern every day for 12 days in a row, despite the ridicule that I get from friends and family in particular, because I want these.
These are so delicious. And again, everything you all do, whether you're watching this now during the holidays or you're coming back to it later in the year, the bourbon, the rye, what you all are putting together, it just really stands apart as something so different in the industry. Tell me about that. What's the approach you all take to whatever you're creating to make it so special?
Well, it all started with Jim Rutledge, right? We were lucky to have sat in a room with Jim. We were lucky that he understood and saw the vision and shared the vision that we had for Blue Run. We are fortunate to have a fairly deep stockpile of barrels that Jim personally distilled. And then, to have him be part of the process every step of the way is just, it's a dream come true, right? It is an unfair advantage, and one of the great joys of my life to have the ability to call Jim a friend, to work with him, to interact with him, to learn from him. But then, as we paired Jim with Shaylin Gammon, and she is incredible as well. Amazing palate. She developed Russell's 13 while pregnant, so she couldn't drink at the time, and she did that all by nose. She knows what she's doing. She is really, really talented. And so in my estimation, we have two of the most talented people in the industry working together, this dynamic duo to create fun and exciting whiskeys that have nuance and layers and flavor profiles that don't necessarily mirror everything you see on the shelf today.
Yes, you really do. They're both so talented, and they've gone through. What Shaylin has done with these single barrels, she's gone through tons of them to find these 12, right? That are so unique.
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of work that goes into finding these single barrels, because they really need to pop. They really need to stand out. right? I go back to, I think it was 2021 that when we first did 12 days, and there's a bottle that I have on my shelf. It's tucked away, right? It's kind of squirreled in the back so that people can't see it. And I know whiskey's for sharing, but I only have like, that much left. And it's called Island Spice Cake. And I'll tell you, Island Spice Cake is literally Island Spice Cake in a bottle. It is so incredible. And that to me was the one of the first realizations I've had that that you can go down this experience, this, I don't know, this magical flavor experience that differs from bottle to bottle on a single barrel. And it's super cool. And I love doing this. And I love the fact that people enjoy these bottles, and that sometimes they fight over them and get upset that they can't get them, because they didn't click fast enough. And that's part of the fun of it, right? It's just fun to go hunt. And this is a different sort of hunt.
Hunt for the one that speaks to you. The descriptions are wonderful. I love reading these descriptions. There's so much fun, and you're going to do it all the way through day 12. And again, the place to go is BlueRunSpirits.com. We also, as I was mentioning to you earlier before the broadcast, we featured some of your 8-year-old at San Diego Bay Wine and Food Festival in our Hoosier Pappy lineup. It had wonderful reception. That 8-year-old was beautiful. Some of these hidden gems, from what I understand, obviously you can get a lot of your bourbons and ryes across the country, but these you really have to go to BlueRunSpirits.com for, right?
Yeah, there's the only way to get the 12 days bottles is online. And that may change in the future. Yeah. I'm not going to promise that change in the future, but right. I do believe that that it is, when you talk about the hunt, it's pretty cool to show up and say, what is this bottle in a package that has an LED light on it? And you find out that, you've just stumbled upon, a bottle of 12 days. It's like stumbling upon a bottle of Blanton's at retail,
It's exciting. That is really cool. And one other cool thing that you're doing before the holidays, and we'll show everyone this too, is this wonderful Advent. I've really enjoyed seeing a lot of these holiday Advent, whether it be for beer, wine, spirits, but this one is really special because you're going to be getting a taste of several different single barrels along with the high rye bourbon and a glass too, right?
Yeah. It's if you're for those who like collectibles, this is a super cool one. For those who aren't quite sure, and they look at the 12 days and say, I don't know, I'm not sure if that's for me. Well, here's a way for you to figure out if it is for you. You get this full bottle of high rye, which is my standard everyday go-to pour. And I just want to point out for everybody, it's high rye. We call it high rye, but it's high rye bourbon. Right. It's just got a higher rye content. And I think that Jim stuck the landing on those barrels,
right?
Really, really well. 111 proof, all the big, bold bourbon notes, but a lot of black pepper, too, which I really, really enjoy. Yeah. And I also think that high rye bourbon goes great in a cocktail. I prefer it in a paper plane. I know it's not paper plane season, but I got to admit something. I think paper plane season runs about 12 months a year for me.
You could always be one when it's the right bourbon. That's right.
Yeah, you just turn the heat up in the house, and it's paper plane season, right?
You can make that happen. That's right.
Yeah. So this set that you see is available at the tail end of the 12 days setup, and you can learn more about it online at BlueRunSpirits.com. But it's just fun. We're turning over new leaves. We're offering people different experiences and opportunities. And, that's what we set out to do when we formed Blue Run. We wanted to continue to push boundaries, change the rules, so to speak, allow people access to a brand and help them understand that it's really their own, right? And that we did this, we formed this company to make sure that people felt like, hey, I'm supporting a company that I like with, accessibility to the founders. And from my perspective, I wanted to do something and form a company that people, that people looked at and said, or that I looked at and said, I would be a fan of that company if I had nothing to do with it.
I like
that's the key, right? I want to be a fan of this company. So I want to do things that would make me want to keep showing up at 3 o'clock, or, hitting my favorite liquor store or my favorite bar and keep pouring this stuff. So that's the goal. I hope people find great joy in it, and as much joy as I've found in pushing this forward.
You've put a lot of creativity and passion into this. I know your team has too. It's really incredible to see you all grow, and just the fun special releases throughout the year, and just keeping it fun throughout the year. And with your perspective, I mean, you came into the industry, what was it, four years ago?
Yeah.
Around 4 years ago, and you were new to the industry. You've noticed a lot of great things. You brought us a lot of great things. Tell me that. We were talking a little earlier about you were comparing Louisville to some other places.
Oh yeah,
the buzz, the energy of Kentucky, which you've seen. I shared that with you.
Yeah. So, I lived in San Francisco pre-bubble,
right?
And the energy in San Francisco was palpable. Felt like on any sidewalk, in any office, in any elevator, in any grocery store, wherever you were, there was just this energy that was infectious, right? It just felt like amazing magic was happening. And I haven't felt that really anywhere else except for Louisville, where that energy is still very palpable, where people are excited. You just kind of, it's almost like, a whole handful of Pied Pipers are wandering the streets there, professing their love for bourbon, their desire to share it with other people, all the great work that all these other brands are doing as well. It's just really, it's incredible to experience. And so that's, for me, it's kind of like, it buoys me. It really lifts me up.
It is inspiring. I mean, for myself, being in the region, just to see how much it's grown in 5 years and 10 years. And I'm so glad you said that, regarding San Francisco, other places that have had that kind of buzz. People will often ask me, how long can the growth happen? And I still feel like we're really in the beginning of the growth, just to see how much more it grows every year, and to see more brands like you coming on board that have such passion and excitement.
Yeah, I think we're still on the front end of it, and there are people doing some really exciting things. I'd like to point out, Kenny and Ryan at Bourbon Pursuit
Yes.
United have an experience, in Whiskey Row. That's exciting. You walk up and down and you see more experiences opening up, and it's just fun. It's fun to see. It's a great community of people. And, I may have mentioned this to you offline, Tom, but I come from politics, and politics is this cutthroat business with sharp elbows where you're afraid, you're going to get a shiv in the back in the middle of the night. This industry is the antithesis of that. It's like, if somebody runs out of, it's like, I guess I can liken it to life in the United States from the 50s to the 80s. If you run out of milk, you can knock on your neighbor's door, or eggs, and knock on the door and say, "Hey, ran out." And they're like, "Here, we'll take care of you." And it's the same way in this community. People really want to help. They want to see everyone succeed, and it's kind of a rising tides mentality.
It really is. It really is. I love how the brands have come together, how everyone works well to keep on building it, and how we see established heritage brands really championing the new brands, and vice versa. It's been really fun for me the last 18 years or so watching it grow. I know it's going to keep growing, and thanks for all you're doing. I know there's so much more to come from Blue Run Spirits in years to come, and hopefully we see you real soon in Kentucky, Mike.
Yeah, and in person for sure. And I just want to thank you, Tom. I mean, you've been on the front end of banging that drum, right? Of telling people about bourbon and educating them. And I think there's a long run ahead. It's not like people are all of a sudden saying, I'm going to stop drinking bourbon and I'm moving to vodka, you know?
Right.
Right. This base of brown spirits drinkers is growing leaps and bounds, and so I really do believe we're at the front end of another boom. But maybe that's just because I drink a lot of bourbon.
I think. Well, I mean, it could just be I believe it too, and I like a lot of bourbon too. But I think we're both right here, Mike.
Of course we are.
I think we are. I've no doubt. We're going to make sure we are. Keep on drinking the bourbon, everybody, and go to Blue Run Spirits if you're looking for an exciting gift. Again, it's the 12 days all the way up until the 12th, and then I'm seeing they're more and more getting sold out. And then on the 12th, it looks like 40 calendars drop. So this is pretty limited edition. So that's is that right? 40 calendars?
Yeah.
40 total calendars. Very limited edition. Looks amazing. It looks really like a cool project you guys are doing.
And I'll be buying one when they drop. So watch out, people. Hopefully they'll only be 39. But you know, this is you snooze, you lose sort of moment. So do not miss out. It's really, really cool. But we're gonna keep the fun cranking.
That's right, Mike. Hey, thanks so much for taking some time to chat with us today, and happy holidays to you and to everyone.
Anytime, Tom, and thanks to you and everybody who's watching. Happy holidays to you as well. Thank you so much.
Cheers, my friend. Thank you.
Cheers.